Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder aboard the Dunkerque, and welcome to the first video of the new patch. So the Dunkerque. Man, I have waited for the ship for quite a while, and I'm glad that it finally is here. But I think it's not quite there yet, if you know what I mean. Because the single most outstanding feature of the ship, that all of its main battery barrels are facing forward, mounted in two quad turrets, um, yeah, it has its issues. It promises a lot and it holds this promise, but the expectation was not quite met. If you have then an unrealistically high expectation, like I did, then you obviously get disappointed. But by itself, I think, yeah, the ship's alright. Battle rating 6.7, joint highest in the French tech tree. It comes in the tech tree after the Lorraine, rank 6. That's fine. And to be honest, it is the best French capital ship so far, because the Quebec class and the Bretagne class, man, do I hate them. And in that comparison, yeah, it's good. But so far, I think the entire French tech tree is not really worth putting too much effort in. There are some nice destroyers, some nice light cruisers, but that's about it. And yeah, the coastal fleet, just forget. Back to the main battery shells. Because they're actually starting the issue that something's not quite there yet. We have an HE shell that is stock, 885 meters per second, 66 kilograms of TNT, which is not really bad, especially for its caliber of 330 millimeters or 13 inches, and 74 millimeters of penetration. But you know, it's an HE shell, so it's irrelevant to begin with. As a tier 1 upgrade, we get the 330 millimeter OPF MLE 1935 SAP CBC round. That shell also 870 meters per second muzzle velocity and a whopping 18.21 kilograms for a relatively high penetration value of 540 millimeters at 1 kilometer, and at 10 kilometers we have a flat 400 millimeters of penetration. Okay, for a SEP round, that's not bad, but you know, there is no AP shell. There is no AP shell. So that was kind of odd on the dev server, but let's just go with this. And 400 millimeters at 10 kilometers is 5% less, roughly, than the Scharnhorst's 11-inch armor piercing, and roughly in the region of 20% less than the 12-inch guns from both the Alaska and the Kronstadt. I know they're battle rating 7.0, but you get the idea. Then we have 30 seconds reloads. Alright? Before we come to the other issues with that arrangement and overall things that just happen to not be right on the ship, let's go briefly over the armor. And yeah, the bulkhead 210 millimeters, because if you bow in, you know, the bulkhead's important. The barbette 310 millimeters, but it's wide, it's huge, you know, due to the quad turrets. Turret face 330 millimeter. The belt side plating is 225, and deck plating ranges to 125 millimeters over the magazine to 115 millimeters over the engine space. And we have an internal turtleback with 40 millimeters, but it's also really steep and you should not really rely on this. So the good thing is you have all your main battery shells right at the start without turning the ship, without some odd firing angles. But then again, it's only 8 guns and a 30-second reload, and not the highest penetration. Okay, let's go with this. So obviously you chew through cruisers eventually, and versus battleships, well, it depends. But there seems to be something off this patch with the armor, especially due to the fact that I've destroyed so many Scharnhorsts. And yeah, the problem really starts when you get shot. And I'm not particularly talking about the armor, but rather what happens when you get shot. So if you get shot in the turret, you not only lose a turret, but you actually lose 50% of your firepower. So you need to repair the turret. And when you then fire the other turret, that increases the reload to 40 seconds. And having 4 shells every 40 seconds, that ain't good. That really is not fun. Now, here comes a missed implementation by Gaijin. The designers of the actual ship IRL knew about this potential risk, and therefore, as you also can see in the design of the quad turret, made it actually 2 twin turrets. So the turret and the barbette is split down the middle with an additional internal armor plate, but this is not reflected in the game. So when you receive 1 shell to the turret, all 4 guns are knocked out. So this is where I was struggling and where I was giving Gaijin a bit of a leeway when I thought, yeah, it might take a while to implement that mechanic, but it's not there, and that's a real shame. But further things happen. If you receive a shell to the lower part of the barbette, then you lose your shells. It looks like an ammunition detonation, it feels like an ammunition detonation, but yesterday when I played, I didn't lose the shells in the counter in the overlay, and they were visually still there in the X-ray, and I didn't lose the expected amount of crew. So for all intents and purposes, the turret was fully operational. Well, it just didn't fire anymore. And when that happens twice, as you could see at the start of the video with that other Dunkerque that I shot, that ruins your day. The secondaries are all mounted in the rear, and so you need to angle the ship in order to bring some of them online. And as much as I like the quad 130mm turrets, the maximum broadside is 12 if you fire to the rear, and 10 if you fire to the side. So they also don't have the penetration. Then you have no radar, your AA is trash, your armor is basically too thin. You know, the ship is also not particularly fast, with only 56 kilometers per hour for a battlecruiser that is relatively modern looking by World War II standards. It's not enough, right? And you need to really hope that you get ignored up until the point that you get into position where you park your ship behind an island or some other object where your lower barbette cannot get hit, and then you can have the rest of the ship in safety. But then again, you know, it's very easy for high altitude bombers to precisely drop a big bomb on you, and that ain't healthy. So this is basically the ship summarized. You don't have a proper AP round, your SAP is not up to the task when you fight the really nasty big boys. If you get shot and you lose your ammunition or your turrets, it's the most painful thing ever, right? And I am getting the HMS Glorious vibes all over again. But again, the advantage is that you have all your main battery firepower right from the start, without rotating the ship, without rotating the turrets, and I can't hate this ship. But right now it's not a pleasure to play, and once the community widely figures out, if they haven't already, just to simply shoot the front of the ship and watch some fancy explosions, and then you're left with no ammunition whatsoever, even after repairing. Yeah, you know, that ain't good. That is a real deal breaker for me personally. But then again, it's the best French ship so far. So it's a bit of a tragedy. And then I look into for example, the Italian tech tree and think to myself, they have better ships at 6.3, and many of them, and it's wild. It's really wild. Now again, in terms of the War Thunder meta, if you will, the only advantage that I see with this is, especially versus the other French capital ships so far, it's the first French capital ship that has a float plane with which you can capture points, with which you can decap, right, where you can fly over the ship and watch out for torpedoes. You know, it's a nice thing to have, although I rarely use it, to be honest, because I have quite the routine in playing ships, and I missed out in learning float planes or catapult fight. I mean, I can use them, I just never do it, right? And so here you can see me trying to then make some sort of death ride, trying to capture B and then reloading some shells. But we all know that is not gonna happen. And all the more important is that after I lose basically all my ammunition, I still have 40% of my crew left. So in that aspect, the ship is tanky, although I just lost right now. But no need to repair, right? And now I get the attention of many, many, many enemy ships. And I really want to give some wishes, like a wish list. What Gachi needs to do to really improve the ship is, first of all, implement the mechanic that the turrets are split. So if one half of the turret gets knocked out, you still can use the other half. That would be nice. I would even, agree to have a longer reload for the other two guns, but like 5 seconds. That would be fine. But right now, that is really painful to have the mechanics the way that they are. And also give the ship a proper AP round so that it can fight the big boys, which it fights anyways to begin with. And further look into the bug of the shells disappearing, because it's not a real proper magazine detonation, but the shells are all gone. Maybe it's not a magazine detonation because the propellant charges don't get hit. It's a bit odd. I still have to play more ships, I agree with this. But I hope you got the idea. The idea of the ship is fantastic. The looks are fantastic. I also like the camouflage. But the performance leaves things to be desired. It's not the be-all, end-all. And that's it for me today. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please give this video a like if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more. And we'll see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.